Hi, friends. It's good to be back. As we slowly get back onto our feet and the wheels of the economy also start turning, we are getting into a reconciliatory mode where living with the corona rules will be now a way of life. For how long, I cannot say. The human ingenuity can surprise us all, so a cure and a vaccine are not far away. But till then, it's caution, caution, and more caution. News about corona is almost reaching a saturation point. Life is gradually getting unlocked as the hibernation period is slowly getting over. When will one be able to eat out, go to a mall, travel, party with friends? The answer is probably soon. As an eternal optimist, I feel it will be sooner than later, though with riders and rules, but that's okay. The harm to the global and Indian economies has been unprecedented, especially to small businesses or the MSMEs as they are referred to often. Businesses, both big and small, face challenges and some even closure. Some have already declared insolvency, but resurrect we will, and it is how quickly and effectively we rise up and get back on our feet and then start running which will decide where we will be headed in the future. So, since I come from the MSME sector and the manufacturing sector in particular, I'm going to share some thoughts on how MSMEs in India can now change the rules of the Indian and global economy. They say necessity is the mother of invention. I'll add to that, adversity is the catalyst for those inventions. Indian ingenuity and enterprise is our biggest strength. All we need to do is harness and upgrade all that ingenuity and strength to global standards, to be world beaters. As global manufacturing supply chains are trying to reduce their dependency on China and find alternatives, they are looking at countries like India, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and even Ireland. And these countries are seizing the opportunity and moving very quickly. We need to move faster. What are global buyers looking for? Or rather, what will win them over? This is my take on this. Number one, they want a good political and trade relationship, which will be stable and long lasting with a trading partner like India. They want perceptive countries with good communication skills. They want scale and volumes. They want world class manufacturing standards and quality. They want an efficient infrastructure, which can help the manufactured goods to reach them in the fastest possible time, as everyone wants to have very low inventory cycles now. They want range and flexibility in product categories, or in other words, one destination from which they can source multiple products. They want competitive pricing. And if they want to set up base in India, they want ease of doing business parameters to almost plug and play levels if they want to invest. So I feel we score fairly high on most of the above fronts and have to look at both short term and long term measures to make this happen very quickly. Our size as a country and human resource automatically makes us the top contender to replace China. But speed of catching the opportunity will be the key. It's no longer going to be just survival of the fittest. It will be survival of the quickest. So let's look at some of the short term measures that need to be taken to make all this possible. It is an accepted fact that to invite investment, the messaging to potential investors must go from those already invested in India. So, ease of doing business is going to be crucial, and the next generation of reforms must happen now. As this is necessary and opportune moment, whether it is industrial land reforms, labor reforms, or even police and judicial reforms. These will be crucial to sending the right message. Over and above, the digitization and paperless communication will be a clincher. With over 60 million MSMEs in the country and over 110 million employees and a substantial contribution to exports and to the GDP, our war chest is ready. We only have to make them battle ready now. Here is my take on the way forward. Number one, to match up to global standards of manufacturing, and with some social distancing being the norm for some time, manufacturing will acquire a new dimension. While the larger units have already upgraded to global standards, the MSMEs have not. At the same time, the potential to grow for large companies is limited, and contrarily, MSMEs can be a huge exponential multiplier for revenue, jobs, and exports, and also help to reach that $1 trillion threshold much faster. For far too long, MSMEs in this country have been incentivized to stay small. Times have changed, and to be a global player, we need to be ahead of the curve on technology and scalable at the same time. Next point, to be able to do all of this and satisfy the needs of the global supply chains, as mentioned above, MSMEs need to upgrade. The new Industry 4.0 standards require manufacturing companies to have connected machines, application of Internet of Things or IoT, extensive use of artificial intelligence or AI, data analytics, 3D printing, etc., to make manufacturing efficient, attain exceptional quality, and supply all the products at very competitive prices. And with our strength in IT, this should not be difficult or expensive compared to other geographies. But customized solutions must be available to MSMEs as they do not really know where to go. In the life of an MSME, and this is interesting, they start with limited capital but unlimited passion and dedication. The limited capital, however, makes them compromise with quality and manufacturing standards. Then they struggle and put back whatever they earn in the order that they must grow. Now, debt from banks for expansion adds to their liabilities, and while most of the time they are growing, they are earning mostly for the bank than for themselves. At the same time, they never find the time or the advice to evolve into a modern day manufacturing company. In situations of downturns like this, and more so in situations in the past as well as in the current scenario, a lot of them may not survive, as 3 months of no revenue and fixed costs of almost 35 to 40% will erode their entire year's profit. And assuming it may take 2 years to get back to earlier demand levels, they are looking at 2 or more years of struggle. Their main challenges always are high capital costs, access to finance and related costs, marketing and sales, and above all, competing with cheap imports. What is ironical is that many a time companies in India import cheaper priced products from China or similar countries and later discover that the same product of better quality and price was available in India. The reason they could not connect was because we do not have an authentic database of Indian MSMEs. This is a serious issue and must be addressed immediately. Why should businesses go outside the country when it could well stay here? Uttar Pradesh or UP is a live example of how they leverage their ability to attract foreign investors and companies to set up a veritable electronics hub in the state, thereby sending the right signals for future investments. So, what is the way forward? We contribute as a country less than 5% to global exports. The reason perhaps was due to a continuous growth in domestic demand and our inability to scale up for the global markets. Here are the steps I feel that need to be taken immediately. First, identify the import substitution products that Indian companies should and can make. The entire import data must be analyzed by the respective export councils. This data is easily available. Immediately then, ask trade missions in consulates overseas to collect import data of top 20 imported products in their respective countries and share the same with the Ministry of Commerce in India and let them analyze all this data to identify manufacturers through the export promotion councils in India. So once they have identified manufacturers and matched the product to the manufacturers, the trade missions can play a matchmaking role thereafter. Next point is to identify companies in these product categories that can immediately set up scale to meet the demand and identify also their needs for technology upgradation if required. We should also, as the government, should create a very low interest technology upgradation fund accessible by the MSMEs. And these industries could then utilize these funds to upgrade on the area of technology, which is so crucial to addressing global needs. Our ability to switch tracks and adapt to needs of the country has been adequately displayed during this pandemic, where hundreds of small and large companies switched to providing sanitizers, masks, PPE kits, and ventilators, etc., at breakneck speed. Today, we have adequate supply of all these products. Also, post Corona and COVID 19, a lot of good companies with good technologies are likely to go insolvent in developed markets, Europe in particular. This is a huge opportunity for Indian companies, especially MSMEs, to grow inorganically, both in terms of scale and technology. The foreign trade missions will also have a huge role to play in matchmaking, even here. I can say from experience that from exporting for over 3 decades now, the Indian manufacturing capability is not being showcased to the world as it should. This must change. We must also create a professional body of successful entrepreneurs to periodically handhold these MSMEs as they ramp up both on technology and scale. And finally, upgrade and modernize all existing industrial areas in line with international standards of manufacturing, which would be critical to help put all of this together. Now let's look at the long-term measures. Now we need to focus on leveraging our strengths, and we also need to identify what these strengths are. Let's take agriculture and food processing. Each country has its inherent strengths. Our strength lies in our ability to provide food to 1.3 billion people from within the country and still have food to spare. It is unfortunate, though, that over 50% of our rural population in agriculture contributes only a little above 20% to the GDP. We are the largest producers of milk in the world, yet UAE, one of our largest business partners, prefers to buy their cheese from Netherlands or New Zealand. Using technology to enhance both produce and crop valuation and supplementing them with modern manufacturing to process our produce will make us truly the food bowl of the world. Of course, the Honorable Prime Minister's focus on agriculture and food processing must be realized with immediate agricultural reforms, which will make more than half the countries prosperous in a very short time. The other sector, which is in the long term going to be a revenue generator for the country is the pharmaceutical and drug sector. We are supplying 40% of the generics to a market like the US, and the government has rightly created a fund of several thousand crores for 3 pharma parks in the country to focus on the production of APIs or active pharmaceutical ingredients, for which we were so far dependent on China. The whole world is our market to get. We are one of the most cost-effective manufacturers of pharmaceutical products, and we must encash this strength. What is good about this sector is the huge contribution is made by the MSME sector as well. The other strength we have is human resource. Our huge human resource needs need to be trained and harnessed for future growth. Blue collar jobs are the future in employment. Vocational skills and industrial employment will take care of this huge figure of 25% as is being reported. We have also to consider how this unemployment figure goes down, and therefore the need for this imperative step. Then there are a host of other opportunities that will emerge post corona. With our very cordial geopolitical relationships with countries, we can partner with a lot of them to supplement their needs arising out of the threat of the pandemic as well. Our brilliant startups and the IITs and the IIM pass-outs can focus on helping to find solutions for badly affected businesses post-COVID, like airlines and the travel industry, restaurants, malls, movie theaters, and similar. As these industries will also have to get back on their feet sometime. How innovation can reduce or drive away the fear of the virus is what India needs to show the world. When we bought in India the CDMA and then the GSM technologies in mobile telephony, we leapfrogged the world in terms of use of technology, telecom technology. When we brought in the metro rail, we also had access to the latest technology. Similarly, we badly need huge infrastructure development, be it highways, airports, freight corridors, ports, smart cities, industrial parks, and townships, etc. Whatever we create going forward will have 2 inherent advantages: latest technology and huge employment opportunities. Although this pandemic has brought global economies and nations to their knees, it has also thrown challenges and opportunities to developing economies to step in and take control and to help shape the future. India happens to be in a sweet spot. But you can only go the distance if you strike it right and time that strike well. As Swami Vivekananda very aptly said, awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached. So here's to a resurrected India, and hopefully very soon. So see you again, also sometime soon. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe. Bye-bye.